Have you ever wondered what it's like running an in-house contingent workforce program? My name's Jim Coughlin, Creative Director of Club VMSA, and this is Overheard at Work, where we have as our guest today Teresa Hodges Bryant from VectorVMS and Lakshmi Naganathan from Railinc. And I just was in the kitchen getting a cup of coffee, and I overheard them talking about running an in-house program. So let's listen in.
Hey, Lakshmi, how are you?
Hey Teresa, good to see you. Doing
You
good. How
too.
are you?
I'm great. Just came in to get a refill on my water and just move on through the afternoon. How was your son's birthday party this past weekend?
Oh, it was so great. We also had a festival, so it was a combined celebration. We had party on
Nice.
weekend and we had great time.
Awesome. I cannot believe you have a 15-year-old, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way, right?
Um, you would get so right.
Very good. Well, I am so glad I ran into you. I wanted to see if I could get some input from you about Railinc's contingent program. There's so many organizations that are trying to determine the best model for their contingent program, whether it's managing it in-house or outsourcing, or maybe a combination of the two. So since Railinc manages their program in-house in conjunction with support from VectorVMS's shared managed services team, I thought I might be able to get some insight from you that could possibly assist other organizations with making the right decision for themselves to meet their business needs. So do you have a little time to chat?
Of course.
Awesome. So my first question would be, why did Railing choose to manage their program in-house?
I think the main reason is because we know our culture very well. Corporate culture is really important, and team fit is really important when we are trying to bring a new talent to the company. When we manage the program in house, it gives us an autonomous power to manage the program as per our needs. In fact, like we can tailor it based on the needs of the situation. We have set up lots of processes and protocols and procedures, and we are all able to follow it, and it ensures that we are all on the same page. In fact, like you and I have created vendor user guide, and a lot of effort went into it. And when we bring in a new vendor, we share that with them, so they are also on the same page with my existing vendors. And I think the best of all is like we can influence our key contributors well if we run the program in house.
And that is so important, just those relationships and really being able to move through the process quickly, right? Especially these days when you're really kind of doing the on-demand hiring, because it's a tough market right now for the types of skills that you're looking for.
Correct, absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. So just stepping back a little bit, so why did Railing decide to implement a VMS system, and how has the SMS Program Manager, also known as me, assisted with its success? So Lakshmi, I know that you're aware, but for those that may be eavesdropping, like Jim over there, the shared managed services, or what we call SMS, is really a hybrid program that allows companies to directly manage their contingent workforce program while still receiving specialized services if they're choosing from VectorVMS.
Right. So we, as a company, we started in 1998, but ever since we have grown tremendously. I
Yeah.
think growth warranted the need to implement a VMS program to manage the contingent labor process within Railing. And also, as federal contractors, we have the need to have better compliance management. And when we have a system, a portal in place, we are able to manage that really effectively because everything is in one place and we are able to get to it whenever we want to.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Compliancy is so important, to ensure you're not putting your company at risk. And, you can use Compliance Manager within Vector VMS to capture tasks outside of kind of the normal background checks and drug screens. So, what else does Railing use Compliance Manager for?
So whenever a new hire come into the company to work as a contractor for us, they need to sign certain documents as said by our management. For example, we have our data access policy and security policies in place, and they are all stored in VMS for the vendor to share with their contractors, so they read it and understand why we have it. And as and when we make updates to it, I'm able to make changes and upload into the system so my vendors and my contractors can see it and sign it. And if they have any questions, I'm there to reach out and I can answer questions as and when they have. And also, VMS helps us to customize the program based on our needs. For example, I know when we implemented the system was designed based on Railinc's needs. The
Right.
latest one we did was the SSO, implementing SSO. We were able to team up with the IT team in VMS, and I think we rolled it out in probably less than a month, I think. And there's always more visibility and transparency to my managers and
Right.
vendors on the requisition. And as a recruiter, I know my hiring managers very well. In fact, like not all hiring managers are same. Everyone's different. So I'm able to tailor that particular requisition to the vendors who can work effectively for me and bring in the talent as quickly as possible. And to summit, I think VectorVMS shares best practices to meet our business needs. And I think we work together effectively on strategic initiatives on the program.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's one of the big value adds with the shared managed services program is that our team has many years of experience in the staffing world, so we have a lot to bring to the table. We do share best practices, and we also work with you strategically on any initiatives that you may have. Programs change as they mature. So, functionality within the system may change too, or may need to change. So we do things like health checks where we'll go through, what's your current configurations and workflows that you have set up. Is that still meeting the business needs for Railinc, or maybe we need to look at making some changes. So that's what we call health checks. So, we've been through one of those, right? And we did make some really positive changes, which is good. So, but yes, being a strategic partner is wonderful. That's one of the things that I love the most, being an SMS program manager.
In fact, like when you and I discuss on various needs of the company, you come up and always point there is a feature in VMS that you can use. For example, duplicate candidate submissions. Submitting based on the SSN and
Right.
lots of other things. How to send a bulk notification to the vendors whenever we make changes, a lot of things, right? You have pointed it out based on my current business needs. So I'm very thankful for that.
Good. That's great. Yes. So what would you say are, some of the benefits that Railinc has gained with an in-house program with the VectorVMS technology that's supported by SMS?
I think the current market is like really hard. It's really hard to find talent. And if we don't step up and work on it, we are going to lose talent because I think on an average, every candidate is only in the market for less than 2 weeks. So we really need to start from the requisition to candidate engagement really quick. And I'm able to do that with VMS, and we can move quickly by having open communications with the vendors, hiring managers, and the candidates as well. We have easy management of a lot of things like requisition management, rate management. We have rate clarity. In fact, everybody
Absolutely.
gets the same bill rate, and the pay rates are also in the system, so everybody can see it. And you hold business review meetings for us, and you give me that one nice executive summary that my manager always looks forward to, and I'm able to share it with the management. We hold annual vendor summit calls together, which is kind of like performance reviews for them. We go
Yes.
over their KPIs together and discuss with them where they stand, where they lack, and what I expect from them. We send scorecards every quarter, and that is able to give them an idea on where they stand on with respect to the KPIs that we have established for a vendor, and what else, especially the BI reporting. That's what I
Yeah.
like most. You have made a lot of custom reports for us. You and I have created
Yep.
lots of reports. So whenever I want, I can go in and create a report and give the data that anyone needs, my manager wants or my executive team wants. I'm able to give it to them whenever it's needed. And I think these are like to name a few. And on top of it, I think the program itself, having an SMS manager like you is really important to us because, when I am not working, when I'm on vacation or when I'm out on emergency, my team knows whom to reach so that they can still run this program seamlessly, and you're always helpful. Your team is always helpful.
Oh,
And
great.
that's what I like about the VMS.
Well, good. Yeah. So, yeah, you recently were gone for 2 weeks, right? Which good for you. I wish I could go on vacation for 2 weeks, but yeah. So, it's nice that I can kind of step in your absence and really help your team so that they can continue on, whether it's creating requisitions or engaging candidates in the system, or what they may need to communicate to the vendor partners that support your program as well. So yes, I love that too. So nothing falls through the cracks while you're gone, and you come back and you're not inundated with trying to get lots of things done because it's really been taken care of in your absence.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm glad that that you talked about the vendor management. So
Excuse me, I'm sorry for interrupting. I had to get a refill on my coffee. People were outside, were listening, and we didn't know Rail Inc. is involved in technology for the rail industry. It's such a unique industry. How is Lakshmi? How is Vector VMS and their tool helping you engage candidates quicker? Because you mentioned most candidates last only 2 weeks in this war on talent. People want to know, how are they helping you engage candidates quicker, make the process easier for candidates so that they can stay engaged with you? I mean, it's just fascinating what you're talking about. Can you share more?
Oh, definitely. So, though we are in the railroad industry, we still compete for the same talent in the RTP area. So, there are a lot of companies who use the same kind of tech stack as us. So, when we have a VMS in place, I'm able to roll out the requisition quickly. I'm able to communicate with my vendors quickly. And in fact, my managers are quick. I'm very quick in responding, so we are able to do the interview process. And in fact, from the offer, it's only 2 weeks for the candidates to join our company. I think we are really good on onboarding as well, and we are prepared for new hires all the time. And VMS helps us a great deal in doing all of these process really well. The Mainly the requisitions, rolling off the requisitions, and reaching out to the vendors are really easy if I have the portal in place.
So the candidate's experience and the supplier's experience working with the VMS tool and you is fairly seamless, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. So, they have all the data they want. I have all the data I want. And of all the things, both our sides, as a client, Railinc, and as vendors, we all have VMS and SMS manager like Teresa who can help us in all possible ways.
And somebody's asking, are you concerned about, as you grow, if the Rex exploded to 2, 3 times the size, is there the scalability to handle that? Have you spec that out?
I think VMS can handle that. In fact, we've gone into those situations multiple times in the past, but we were still able to do that really well. And I think like we'll all end up in that really soon. And I'm very confident that we'll be able to do that with VMS.
This is, I'm sorry for crashing your party. I just needed to get a refill on my coffee. But some people wanted to know about your annual vendor summit reviews and how the technology tool helps with that. So I'll let you two share that, and I'm going to go back out in the hall and tell people to get back to work. Okay.
okay, sounds good. That was good, Jim, because I was just getting ready to say, we mentioned vendor management earlier, and the vendor partners that you engage with are really the heart of your program because they provide the talent to support your contingent needs. So, as Jim was saying, how has Railinc maintained those relationships, and how has the VectorVMS system and SMS Program Manager assisted with that?
I think here I would say our USP is we are always very transparent and we communicate very effectively. And we keep that communication open. It's not just one way, we keep the two-way communication open. I'm always yours to hear our vendors, their problems, the difficulties they face, because I believe that they are the ones who can bring in the talent that's suitable to my company, right? And they also have the ability to turn a passive candidate into an active candidate.
Absolutely.
You and I cannot do it, and they are able to do that. For that, I need to keep my vendors engaged at all times, and I should be available to them whenever they need me. So I'm big on communication. I respond to them on time, and whenever we hold the annual service reviews, we talk about that. We talk about the KPIs and where they lag, how they can improve, what's my feedback. In the same way, I also ask feedback from them, so we as a company can also work on those. So it's always mutual, right? So
Yes.
one person step up, the other person need to step up as well. Only mutual relationships will help, so that me as a company and they as vendor will succeed together. In fact, when we hold those face-to-face meetings, I can't wait to go back to that, because it's always very effective, and that's what I believe. And the scorecards are great indicators because it's going to give them a snapshot on where they stand with respect to their submittals, the candidates who got picked up for the interview, the offers, and a lot of other things. So they can, at a glance, they are able to look at how they are contributing to us as vendors. And I'm also available anytime to discuss one-on-one as needed. And in fact, I hold a lot of bi-weekly meetings as well with many of my vendors. So I think that is the great success. And I truly believe communication is the key.
Yeah, that's great. And that was a lot of great information, Lakshmi. So thank you. So just to kind of go back on some of what you said, we talked about the annual service reviews that you and I have with the vendor partners, which, we used to do face-to-face. Hopefully we'll get back to that one day, right? But, those are great meetings because, we run the vendor scorecards directly from the VectorVMS system. And we go through the scorecards, talk about performance, highlight, things that they're doing really well and maybe areas that they need to focus on. But it's just a great opportunity for them to provide feedback as well, as far as the program, or, maybe make some recommendations around different things too that would be helpful for the vendor partners. So I really enjoy those service reviews, and I think we all get a lot out of those. And I think they're really important because vendor partners really want that feedback. They want to know how they're doing, right? They want to know what can they do better, or where are they really exceeding, and they also want to know how they're doing against the other vendor partners in the program too. But I really love those meetings, like you said. And one thing I wanted to mention too, one thing I think that you do with your vendor partners that's great is that when you have a requisition that it's an urgent need, or, looking for special skills, you do those vendor intake calls with the hiring managers and the vendor partners that are going to support that requisition. I think those are great because then they're all hearing the same message. They're all understanding, what the needs are, and they have that direct communication with the hiring managers as well.
Yes, that helps me as a recruiter as well, because I'm the first point of communication for them. So when resumes come in, I'm able to check and see if that person is going to be a good fit for that role or not. And that's the main reason I try to hold the Q&A call with the vendors and the hiring managers. So the vendors have the ability to ask questions about the role, about the skill sets we need for that role. And it has helped us effectively.
Good. That's awesome.
Hey, ladies, I'm sorry to interrupt again. I just got to get another cup of coffee. People outside want to know about VectorVMS. How do they hear more about VectorVMS, Teresa?
Oh, we can send them information about VectorVMS, vectorvms.com, but I am more than happy to communicate with anyone who wants to know some more information about VectorVMS.
And what's your email?
It is Teresa, Teresa .Hodges, Hodges @vectorvms.com.
Great way to get a hold of you. Hey, Lakshmi, this has been great. I'm so impressed that you're so excited and supportive of your partner here, VectorVMS. The people in the other room and on the call have really liked it. It's exciting. I want to thank you for being on Overheard at Work, Club BMSA production. And we're out of time. Everybody's got to get back to work. The coffee break is over, so get away from the water cooler. But there is a little clip that you guys want to watch about some of the upcoming and past events that we've had at Club BMSA. So thanks for being on the show. We'll see you next time on Overheard at Work. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye.
There's a lot of passion in this room for contingent labor and the importance of managing it well. All of us coming together can really help solve important problems. And I'm not being facetious, but like really important stuff is going on in these conversations.
It's kind of like an insider's club for the industry, I'd say. And you meet people in procurement, MSP, right across all the way up into enterprise. It's great.
A great chance to network, networking both with other people on the buyer side, but also a lot of suppliers and vendors that are here as well.
Now, Brett Gardner's topics around how they're doing things at Boeing was really good, especially because that's a target of ours as a company.
It wasn't just about procurement. It talked about the trends in terms of technology, people skills, leadership, which is actually transforming us. And I think we can take away little bit pieces of all these and really implement us in any way we want to and transform our companies.
Thank you all for being on Club VMSA's Overheard at Work. We'll catch you next time. We appreciate it. See you later. Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you.